Hi ladies, this is a video about our backs, okay? Strengthening and stretching our backs. Now there's lots of reasons or lots of causes for back pain, okay? If we think about being pregnant, okay? The first sign of possibly being pregnant is that your breasts get larger, okay? Even my flat chest got a little bit of boob. When your breasts get larger, okay, the extra weight might have a tendency to want to roll your shoulders forward, okay, depending on how heavy they are, depending on what your posture is like normally anyway, okay. That might cause a little rolling of the shoulders, and it's called kyphosis, where you've got a little curve, sort of rolled shoulders here, okay. Obviously, your lower spine, your lumbar spine, okay, as your belly gets bigger with your baby, we have a tendency to want to do this position here, okay, which I'm sure by the end, those of you that are heavily pregnant at the moment, you might feel that sort of we waddle a little bit, okay, and your pelvis tilts forward. When you're pregnant, okay, we've got a hormone called relaxin that goes through your body, and it does just that. It relaxes the ligaments and the tendons in order for our body shape to change for our growing baby, okay. So that's one cause of obviously backache. It will put more pressure on your lower spine, possibly roll your shoulders forward, your abdominal muscles obviously weaken, and that can cause backache. If I think about when we've given birth, depending on the type of birth will depend on how long it took you to recover. You might find that once you've given birth, you're actually sitting down for quite a long period of time. When we're feeding our babies, for anyone who had episiotomy, for anyone who had a cesarean, you might find that you're actually seated for, hours sometimes. When we sit for long periods of time, our hamstrings can shorten, okay, which actually can cause you to tilt your pelvis forward and again cause a backache. Feeding our babies, whether you're bottle feeding or breastfeeding, whatever position you're in, I didn't really think about it until now. For bottle feeding, I always hold Florence on my left arm with a bottle in the right arm, and the heavier she's got, obviously that puts sort of a bit of an imbalance. If you're breastfeeding, maybe when your babies are nice and small, but as they obviously get larger and get heavier, whatever position you're in, you've just got to sort of stay there, don't you, until your baby feeds. So that can cause backache as well. It also depends on what you did as a previous job. If you sat down for long periods of time, if you drove for long periods of time, if you were suddenly really active and then suddenly quite sedentary, that would all put pressure on our back, okay? So to sum up, pregnancy, birth and little babies are not our back's friends. However, there are stretches and strengthening exercises that we can do. So I'm just going to show you a few. They're quite basic, they're quite straightforward, and to be honest, I would do these exercises even before pregnancy, okay? And it helps with core stability as well. So I'm going to show a 4-point kneeling position. Now hopefully you can see the angle. I've kept the camera this way so we can see full length. Your 4-point kneeling position, so you're on your hands and knees here. If you're breastfeeding, okay, lying flat on your front might be uncomfortable. So 4-point kneeling position, okay, where your wrists are just under the shoulders, the knees are just under the hips, that position might be more comfortable, okay. Now when you're in this position, try not to just let your belly go, okay, still activate your core. Now we're going to do a Superman, okay. Your Superman position, if I face this way first, you're going to extend your opposite arm to opposite leg, okay. So we do a deep breath in, opposite arm, opposite leg, like so, okay. Now you're not trying to get one arm higher, or your arm and your leg as high as possible. You are stretching through the tip of your fingers to the ends of your toes, okay. So it literally is opposite arm, opposite leg, hold for a few seconds, and then switch. Deep breath in. activate that belly, straight spine. Now I would start with 6 to 8 both sides, and I would do a couple of sets of those. When you're doing opposite arm to opposite leg, make sure you're not twisting. Your shoulders and hips stay square to the floor. Now if that's too much, you might just want to start with your arms, okay? If you haven't done any exercise at all, just start with your arms, or just start with your legs. So extend them out, that's it. Now a progression of your Superman is a diagonal Superman, okay? And that will target your core a little bit more. So deep breath in, opposite arm, opposite leg, stretch, tip of your fingers to the end of your toes. Then you take to the diagonal, straighten up, reset and switch over. Deep breath in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, okay? That is an extension. Also working the back is if you're in a 4-point kneeling position, extending one arm, squeezing your shoulder blade, coming back down, extending the other arm, coming back down. Deep breath in, if you're pregnant, you can do this one as well. Okay. If you're going to the gym, exercises like a row, okay, so we do a seated row position. If you've got resistance bands, these are quite good. You could do a seated row, and you've just got to think your back stays up straight, you pull your elbows in, and you don't even need to have any weights for it. You literally pull your shoulder blades together and relax. Pull your shoulder blades together, relax. If you can see, don't shrug your shoulders, relax the shoulders down. Deep breath in, breathe out, squeeze. Imagine you've got a coin stuck between your shoulder blades. Or we can do a lat pull down. So your arms are up. And you're literally squeezing your shoulder blades down. And again, if you've got resistance bands, you could use a resistance band. If you are going to the gym, you could do your lat pull down. So deep breath in, breathe out, squeeze them together. Anything that draws the shoulder blades together, it opens the chest out, and it could cause a little less backache. Now lying on your front, again, depending on whether you're breastfeeding will depend on how comfortable this may be. Lying on your front, just place your hands down by your sides. Keep your focus looking down. You're not trying to look as high up as you can, okay? And you're just going to peel your chest off the floor. So deep breath in, breathe out, breathe in. And you should feel here, sort of lower to middle back, just peeling your chest off the floor. Doesn't matter how high you come off the floor. Now, if you want to target the upper back a little bit more, we do the same thing. You lift your hands with your chest, extend the arms in front, bring them back, lower down and reset. Okay, deep breath in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Good, and again. Good, relax. Okay. So exercises that pull, like I said, pull the shoulder blades back, arch not arch the back, but peel the chest off the floor. They will strengthen up your back muscles, okay? Now stretching, if you have tight muscles, if you have tight hamstrings, if you have tight glute muscles, they can also cause backache. So exercises like, obviously your hamstring stretch, deep breath in, hug one knee in, breathe out, extend the leg up. Okay, if you want a little bit more, you could either put a resistance band or a towel on your foot and just pull the leg a little bit closer. You feel that in the back of your leg, okay? So hold for about 10 to 15 seconds and then switch around and just breathe into it. Whenever I stretch my hamstrings, I always feel a release in my lower back. It really does help. If we want to stretch the glutes, cross your ankle over to opposite knee, bring that leg through, and you want to feel this stretch about here. Again, hold for about 10 to 15 seconds. And I would sort of have a, depending on how much time you've got, sort of go over about 2 or 3 times. That's it, switch it round. To stretch the back as well, relax your shoulders on the floor, drop both knees to one side and then take your focus to the opposite side, and you'll feel that release in your lower back. It'll also sort of open up the chest as well. If you want a bit more, you can extend your top leg over. And then other side, knees to the other side. Either keep those knees together, or if you want a bit more, extend that top leg. If you feel like you're lifting, I wouldn't go as far. Make sure the idea is that you keep your shoulder blades on the floor. Just hugging the knees into the chest. That's good to stretch your back. Little rock from side to side, or a little circular motion. And then again, coming into a 4-point kneeling position. We would have all remembered this probably from school. Your little cat stretch, okay? So just curling the upper back up. That's it. And then sort of a flat back. And then curling it back up. And a flat back. Threading your arm through. So we thread it through. This will sort of target the upper back a little bit. Thread it through. You can come all the way down if you feel comfortable, wherever you can feel that stretch. Again, still keep your belly active. Other side, just thread through. And another sort of twisting one is you can just sit cross-legged, okay, and just literally opposite arm across opposite knee, and just do a little spinal twist here. If you are pregnant, the twists would not, I would not recommend the twisting. If you want to progress from that, we can either go into sort of cross the legs over, or have them, you don't have to cross over if you don't feel flexible enough. Deep breath in, breathe out, and twist here. You'll feel this in your outer thigh as well as sort of your spine. That's it. And other side. Deep breath in, breathe out. And again, your hamstrings, if you feel that you sit for maybe, not that I think we sit and have cups of tea and relax all day, as I'm sure all of us know that that's not possible, but if your baby naps for 2 hours, or if they sort of fallen asleep on you and you don't want to move because that little bit of peace is just amazing, you might find that you sit for long periods of time. So Sitting on the floor with your legs extended, you may already feel your hamstrings stretch. Okay, try not to relax in the back. Try and sit up nice and tall. Deep breath in if you want a bit more. Breathe out. Just reach for your feet. Reach for your toes. And one exercise I forgot, one strengthening exercise I forgot, is a bridge position. Your feet are flat, shoulders and hips square to the front. Push your hips up and sort of pull your belly button to your spine, but your hips are lifted. Come down, just hover your glutes on the floor. Breathe out, lift those hips back up. Breathe in, breathe out. This is good for strengthening the glutes as well. It's quite a low impact. Still think about maybe pulling up through your pelvic floor as well. And relax. And one more thing. So the exercises, obviously there can be more. Your supermans, your diagonal supermans, any sort of row or lat pull down will target your upper back. And again, like I said, if you're breastfeeding, you might feel more comfortable on all fours than lying on your front. Lying on your front, back extensions, just peeling your chest off the floor. You can also do supermans lying on your front as well. So exactly the same as all fours, you lift opposite arm to opposite leg. Deep breath in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Okay, supermans. Or your extension of your back extension, breathe in, extend the arms, breathe out. Okay, and then stretching the back as well, hugging the knees into the chest, doing a little twist from side to side, stretching your hamstrings, stretching your glutes. Okay, they can all contribute to backache, and also posture. Florence is 8 months now, so she's crawling everywhere. So she's going for wires, she's crawling under the coffee table, she keeps going for the dog. So I'm constantly picking her up, putting her back down, picking her up, putting her back down, as I'm sure lots of you can relate. So what I want you to think about is your posture. Weak abdominals. Being pregnant makes your abdominals weak. There's no denying it. Your abdominal muscles separate. Obviously you're not using them for 9 months because they are making way for your beautiful babies to grow. If we don't use our abdominals and we sort of just collapse a little, this is what happens. Okay, now I'm going to exaggerate here. If we don't use our abdominals and they're just sort of flat, just not really working, your glutes will shorten, okay, and weaken. Your pelvis may tilt forward, and you might find that this is sort of our posture. We sort of slouch a little bit, okay? Whereas if we activate the abdominals, and when I say activate, I don't mean breathe in, I literally mean make sure that you've got space there, okay? When you've got space there, you feel you lift the chest up, you activate the core and the back, your abdominal, you're not tilting your pelvis forwards, but again, you don't want to tilt your pelvis back, okay? You want to just try and sit and stand up nice and straight. If you're holding your baby on one side, try and hold them on the other side, okay? And yeah, stretching and strengthening your back. Next week, I'm going to do some exercises just for your core, basic exercises for your real lower transverse abdominis. And yeah, we'll see how we go. Thanks, ladies. Give me a message if you've got any questions.